What's up, traders? 3 trades today, one on BJ, one on LB, and one on CAR. Let's get to it. All right, traders, as always, if you want to watch the live trades, they will be right up there. Feel free to click the card. Timestamps will be in the description to take you right to when the live trade starts. So doing a quick recap here on our 3 trades, CAR. This one, we started just a little bit early. It didn't feel early in the time. We had the 1650 pop. Our first entry was here at 1670. It decided it wanted to keep going. Perfectly fine with that. It went through 17, got our first ad. Started to come back down, took half our position off there, looking for this to come back down and test under that 1650 area, which you can see it's at now. But we didn't quite get there. We got to 1658. We were looking for it to go down to 1650 and through. And we ended up stopping out the rest of our shares as it went towards high of day. Unfortunately, it ended up being a fake out breakout, but on the live stream, I actually got into it in some pretty good detail about how you have to be disciplined and make these cuts every single time. Even if the chart does end up being a fake out and comes down and would have hit your goal, target, all that good stuff, you have to be disciplined, because as many times as you're going to see a chart like this, you'll see a chart where this continues through high of day, shoots up to 1750 on a nice squeeze. It'll consolidate and then go up to 18, and then, kind of consolidate up over 1750 for the rest of the day. So as many times as this happens, that also does happen. So you can't sit here and try to nitpick. Every trade is a different trade, but you have to trade them all the same way. Random trades equal random results. Remember that. So on to our trade. The next trade we took was on BJ. This one you guys actually didn't see live. I'm not going to have a timestamp for this one, but we traded this on the bottom chart as we were in CAR. So this one we entered on the 32 pop, the extension away here from the resistance at 31.21, and we were looking for it to come back down. It got away a little bit more than we wanted to here around 32.47. We were looking to add through 32.50 if it got there. It stopped at 32.47. We got a pretty big dump off there, so we decided to take it off. We put an order out there at 31.70, and that's where we ended up getting our fill. As you can see, it was pretty much where it did get down there to 31.50, but it did ultimately try to work higher, and it is actually at high of day now. So that ended up being a pretty decent cover into that wash. And our last trade on the day was a break-even trade here on LB. And yeah, it looks a little funny. I'm going to tell you why. If you go watch the live trade, you'll understand it a little bit more. But the census is, same thing, right? You guys are starting to see a theme. This is my setup, right? I look for previous resistance. I look for an extension, squeeze, breakout, whatever you want to call it, through that previous resistance. And that's where I look to enter, looking for it to come back down and test that previous resistance, which in this case it did. But unfortunately, what happened here is we got the squeeze, went through 14. It went all the way to 1436. We ended up getting our entry at 1425. So we were pretty close to the top, but this thing just felt held up. Every time it would try to drop, we did get down to 1409. It would just it would struggle to go down, and then it would just pop right back up to 1420. And there was a pretty big seller sitting there at 1425. And that's exactly where my average was. And it just felt like every time it tried to push down, it just got bought right back up to that 23, 24, 25 area. And it started to feel like it just was staying in that 20 to 25 cent area. And I just said, you know what? This feels like I've seen before, where it just gets held up and then they push it higher. And that's what it felt like. So I jumped out with the intention of jumping back in after it squeezed through high of day up through 1450. As you can see, I was wrong, right? But if I was right, it would have been pretty nice. Unfortunately, I was pretty wrong, and our profit targets would have been hit on this trade. So a little frustrating in hindsight. Don't feel like I broke any rules per se, minus the systematic approach of, I really had no reason to get out. This wasn't a technical exit by any means. It was just pure, felt like the stock was being held up, so I took it off. That's all there is to it. And to be honest, this is the first time I feel in a while where I felt that way and I was wrong. So you're going to be wrong. You have to be okay with being wrong. It's going to happen. And the quicker that you can be okay with being wrong, the quicker you can move forward. So that's all I have for my trades today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. Find me in the Discord. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. I'm going to go get to that, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.